When you are not fed love on a silver spoon, you learn to lick it off the knives. That is Lauren Eden who said that. On this episode, I want to tell you right now, warning, there will be some difficult talk. Because this is YouTube, so I'm gonna have to change some words or wording or wordage to say certain things. I don't want to get flagged. I think this is a very important subject that needs to come out. So I just want to tell you now, warning, 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 essay, cult stuff. I mean, like it's just father, grandfather, granddaughter, mother, it's all kind of stuff, situations we're going to talk about in some form. So I just want to warn you now. Okay, got it. Welcome to In Between Pages with James Lott Jr. I'm James Lott Jr. And let me read. So I want to take you along the journey because this book takes you along on a journey. So I want to tell you my journey. My girl, who I work with, her name is Samantha, and we get all kinds of artists, sends me this bio. It's short, folks. Moving on. In 2024, Sabrina confronted her ritualistic serial killer cult leader grandfather on his deathbed and informed him she had written a tell-all book. She recorded the interaction and posted it on social media, instantly hitting over 2 million views. In December, she published her book. This is a sensational bestseller, true crime tell-all, Licking the Knife. There it is. Well, I'll show it again in a second. And when I saw that sentence, those two sentences, I said, yes, 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 let's get her on here. And I just want to say congratulations to her because not just for the book, because she made it in life. Sabrina Capper.
Thank you. Oh, that's such a warm welcome. Thank you.
Seriously, no, those of us who tell our stories after having living them, because I've done speaking engagements. I'm going to write a book on my story soon, but I've been telling you, it's brave, for us to say it and to believe that people want to hear it. Because I don't know about you, I'm going to ask you your first question. I don't know about you. I've always felt like, well, no one cares. No one's going to care. They don't want to hear my story. I believe my attackers who said no one will believe me. Was the same for you?
100%. It's exactly what you said. I find the idea that I could say it out loud and live was I couldn't imagine a world where that was possible. And like you, when you take that leap and say whatever that thing is that you've never said,
Yes.
goodness, it's not the bear you thought it was. I mean, it's awful,
Yeah.
but it's temporary.
Yes. One of the things that I realize, so folks, some of you guys know this already who are longtime followers of me. I grew up in an abusive household, abusive father. I was sexually assaulted and left for dead and all that kind of stuff. So I've done that and survived it. Always survived it. When you talk about it out loud, I know it's uncomfortable for people. And for you to write a book on this, what got you through? What got you through saying, like, I'm going to push through this, I'm going to write this book, and I'm going to release it? What kept you going?
Oh, such a good question. And I haven't been asked that one. And I'm I would say the practical answer is a lot of therapy, a
Oh,
lot of different kinds of
okay, good.
therapy.
Okay, good. That's right. Woo, okay.
And the emotional, or I don't even know if I'd even say spiritual answer is not not letting it continue. Like, I finally decided that I was willing to put my life at risk to stop the cycle. So, you know, the first words out of my mouth, which you could see on my TikToks, are, I want you to know I wrote a book. And that was very intentional. That was the only sentence I wanted to say, was that no matter what happens to me in this room today, everyone's gonna know. and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Because I sent it to multiple publishers. I sold it. I put it on multiple servers. I I wanted to make sure I had instructions in place that if I never walked out of that room again, it was still gonna go.
So your intention, you're very intentional that this book's coming out. Somebody gonna pick it up
Yes.
and going out. Even if the self-publish that shit, you're like, it's going out.
Yeah, like I went the traditional publisher route at first. And the initial feedback was so kind and thoughtful.
Good.
It was great. It was just, you have to water this down. And I'm like, it's my life. Like, I can't, I can't, I can't. And what it was that first person perspective of a young child experiencing these. But what for me, it was my experience. Like it is my childhood. And yes, I realize it's horrific for other people. Um, it it's all I knew. And it was, I spent a long time letting other people be comfortable around me, not talking about it. Kind of what you were saying, people shy away from difficult conversations. And I was not going to let this conversation be silenced again anymore, ever. Like I just couldn't take it another day.
It was a guttural thing for you. It was like totally like this has to come out. I'm tired of
Yes.
being quiet about it. Like I think is I know some folks, and I do want to say this for some people. I know this comes from a place of being scared of not knowing how to receive stuff like this and how
Yeah.
it's not just hard to comfort people when it's uncomfortable. Like you don't know like how do I so I know something so for some people I know it comes from a good place. It's just kind of like what do I say to you? Like what I like, and you and I, we were like, just hug me or just say good job or just like we're not looking for anything that
I was
special,
going to say, you can never go wrong with kindness.
right?
And if even if it lands wrong because you say the wrong thing, no, I've never had someone be kind to me and it feel bad. Like I get a lot of Jesus love. I get a lot of love from people who are in religions and I know it comes from a place of kindness and that's what matters.
I don't know people. So I just want to I just want to make sure I say that. I got people. We get sometimes it really is just kind of you just don't know. Either you've never
Oh,
experienced it, you don't know what to do. You're kind of like, but I'm telling you, we're simple. People who go through this, we're just simple. We're like simple folk. We're like, just be nice. Just don't, just
yeah.
like, excuse my language, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
be,
And exactly what you said earlier, like just saying I believe you
yes.
is so incredible. Like that was the most pivotal moment I think for me was when Nanny was like, I believe you. Like
Yes.
if you do nothing else, if anyone ever, especially a child, talks to you and says uncomfortable things, just say, I believe you. You don't you don't you don't have to do much. Just
That part was really
that's
good.
a lot.
That part was really good
Thank you.
because when you talk, she was like the nanny never cries, and she was crying. Well, your husband kind of got on my nerves during that after.
Same, same.
I was
I
like,
mean, come on.
am I going
Married
to
for
tell?
20 years.
I was gonna say, am I going to tell Sabrina this? I'm like, I got to, it's a book. You put it in the book. He got my nerves. I was
You know
like,
what?
wake
I will
up,
take that
wake
all
up. She's
day,
trying to tell you
every
something.
day for a man who does the work. For a minute, like it was a huge surprise. And I don't think anyone would have blamed him for leaving me. I mean, I'd been living a double life our whole marriage. But to stay and do the work, to work through something like this, our relationship has never been stronger. Like it's, oh my God. Like, because there's a whole different level of honesty.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
You know what I mean? And when with honesty comes vulnerability, and with vulnerability comes intimacy and love and all the wonderful things that I was afraid to feel because you can't feel those when you're protecting someone.
the casing. The casing.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes.
That is that. Wow, it's crazy. Okay, we forgive you. We forgive you, Dave. Forgive you.
Fully take accountability for the lies I have told, and I've told a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
That I think is why it's so important to understand where they all came from, because it was always out of love and kindness. I didn't ever act violently or maliciously in the untruths that I told.
I got it. I get that. This book is almost unbelievable, folks. I mean, like, read it, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the F with the B? Um, and there was where's one? Folks, I've dog-eared pages in here.
Oh, I love that. I annotate all my books.
Every all the time. And this part just really gets me. So really quick, folks, I'm reading from the book.
I'm ready.
I am a villain. I know it's because the mother reminds me all the time so I don't forget. I'm a big girl now, almost 5 years old. I should remember. I don't forget, but sometimes she thinks I do, so she has to remind me with hits and kicks. I haven't forgotten since last year when I was too excited about hearing in Sunday school that Jesus loved me. He loves me, and he is always right, so I can love me. I was too little to know that the mother's love hurts and is real, and Jesus is just make believe. Those two paragraphs like really went into my soul. It was just kind of like, wow, this little girl goes from pain to joy to pain. These are two paragraphs. And folks, this is the beginning of the book. That's like it's page 11. I mean, like I was like, I'm like, oh my goodness. And it goes on. It goes on. Trust me, it goes on, folks. I mean, I'm just a thing. But and it's written from the little girl, your little girl perspective. So it's just to hear that I want to hug the girl. I want to hug her. It's
She'll
like, girl,
take that hug. She'll take it.
take it right. It's but it's like seriously, you're going to a place of worship that tells you that Jesus loves you, but your mother's beating it out of you, so to speak. That's kind of what I got out of that. Is am I kind of closer in there?
Yeah. And I'll even give you a little inside info. That particular memory, as you read throughout the book, like I had kind of compartmentalized them to a point where when they came out, it was a surprise,
Oh, okay.
to really talk about all of these things for the first time. And that 3-year-old memory came up when I was home alone with my son. And I had a panic attack in front of him of that memory. And it's very clear. I remember being very excited, Jesus loved me, and that meant I could love me, and I was a good girl. And we know from psychological studies that that's a time in your life where you really decide if you're a good person or a bad person. And when I got home and I told my mother, the memory of the beating she gave me was so violent. It scared the crap out of my son because I couldn't stop feeling the hits and the kicks. And all I can hear her saying is, no one loves you. You're the worst. I'm the only person who will ever love you. And this is how you know. If Jesus loved you, he would save you, but he doesn't. And it was beat into me
Yeah,
very young. And it is really difficult to get it out and just say that your own mother did that to me. It's really difficult. However, that's learned behavior. Like, I'm not the first person to go through this. I'm just the first person I've ever read the first person perspective of it.
yeah. My thing growing up was my father's rejecting me on some level. He's saying, I don't like who you are, so I'm going to beat it out of you. or
Yeah.
neglect you or talk crap about you or whatever the things are growing all the way into my adulthood. And we don't talk at all now. He's somewhere in LA and I'm over here somewhere. But it was one of those things where I was like, as a kid, I felt the rejection. And
Yeah.
so then when he did give me attention, which was the wrong attention, of course,
Right.
I was lapping it up. Isn't that crazy? I was like, oh, he's giving me
No,
attention.
because it feels so gentle. It is so much better until the very last second, until it's not. And then it's worse, but you don't know which one you're going to get.
True.
Hence that fight or flight
Yeah,
systematic stuff.
yes,
Like if you never know what you're going to get when your parent touches you,
right.
like
Yes,
it's intense environment.
it is. As your parents. So there's and this book you call her the mother.
Yes. Uh,
Love it.
oh, good. I needed to give myself a little distance in talking about these people because especially with my mother, she has many personalities. And for me, I mentioned them some, the queen and the crone and you know, it seemed easier than trying to connect that to married names.
She says at one point, I think you need some time to think about what really matters in this life. She says a little loudly. Not everyone is so lucky to have people looking out for them the way you do. You need to think about what family really means to you. When I read this, folks, this is page 194. The rest of the scenario is effed up. And I'm seeing I've been told something similar during some situation. So I when I read it, I found myself as I read it, I felt a little sassy. I'm like, I'm seeing how smart ass that is, and how ironically twisted that is. Because my father said things like that to me too, in the middle
Yeah.
of a meeting or something, in the middle of a humiliation. And so I'm telling you, folks, throughout this, I mean, this is just towards the middle of the book, but folks, when that was another one. I was just like, I hear that, like this is so effed up. It's so effed, like it's just so effed up. The manipulation that someone will tell
Yeah.
you using regular words that sound normal.
And that was their gift.
Yeah.
They knew how to not leave a mark on the outside of my body, and they knew how to use regular words. And it's part of the reason I think I really delve into words and what they mean and the structure. And, I enjoy the technical part of writing for that reason because words are so powerful and they do not have to be fancy or wild. Like they can be as simplistic as a 3-year-old child. And it's still, like you said, joyful and sorrowful and engaging.
Do you think for you, we talk about this all the time. I had therapy too, so I this is great also. Um, to me, it's the words that lasted longer than the actual acts done to me. And someone told me they could understand that. And I said, well, thank God you understand because I don't want you to
Yeah.
the club I
Yeah.
don't want you to be a part of. We're in the same club, we're in a club that's similar. I'm glad you're not in it. But I was telling I said, no, I'm not saying I don't remember the pain. I mean, I remember it, but it's like it's a moment. It's your body. It's a moment. I remember all kinds of pain. I've broken my leg. I've done all kinds of stuff. Over the years. But I said, no, words really do. They get seared into your brain. So I'm saying for you, was it kind of the same? Or was it
Mm.
50-50? Or what kind of percentage was the verbal abuse versus the physical abuse? You've had both. So,
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. For me, the memory of the physical pain you can compartmentalize and disassociate from.
yes.
But
Yeah.
the words that people say, especially when they're building a person of character, um, they shape your mind. I mean, it, it the lessons you learn from the people responsible for raising you and teaching you, that community, that village, are the only messages sometimes. I mean, I can't imagine what my life would have been like without a public education. Like I only had that because it was the law, you know? And and I look at the way my family used words to shape the way I saw my place in the world. And it was so small and restricted. I mean, it lasted for 45 years.
Oh,
I truly believed when I wrote this book and I walked into my grandfather's room as he was dying to say, I did this. I thought he was going to kill me. I really did. And it's a wild thing to have your entire life come down to some sentences.
yes. For some reason, for me, 45 is a transformative year for me too. And that's something I related to you. I'm like, yeah, when I turned 45, I changed my life. I
Yeah,
really did. And I forgave my father.
yeah,
He didn't accept it. Told me to go F myself and all this stuff. He was really mean to me and everything. And I was like, but you know what? I do. I forgive him and sort of folks who were involved. My grandmother, all that. I forgave all of them. Because I had to finally shed them from me
yes.
at
With
45.
when you say when you say forgive, can you expand on what that might feel like for you?
Brene Brown at 45 heard the saying, and it changed my life. She said, and I quote, true forgiveness is giving up the hope the past could be any different.
Yep. Okay.
When she said that, what it did for me is I went, okay, James, even if he said he was sorry, even if he said James was a bad parent,
Yep.
or whatever he would say, I'm like, but all that stuff still happened.
Mhm.
And there are reasons why it happened that are beyond my control. His own upbringing, his own father, there's stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, so for me, it was like, I'm carrying his turmoil and burden.
Hmm.
I'm carrying my turmoil and burden,
Yep.
and it ain't feeding me in any way that's positive, girlfriend.
Yep.
It's not doing anything for me. It's not doing anything for me. Why do I just carry the strength of my other grandmother, the strength of my aunts who came in, my strength of my uncle who I love, the strength of my stepfather who was great? Like I was like, I need to shift the focus on
Hmm.
those, my older brother, like the folks that were there for me.
Yeah.
So forgiveness, so forgiveness was for me. It
Yes.
was for him, but it was
Yes.
for me. It was for me because I felt the need to. I don't know. I just I don't know why 45. I said 45. I don't know
Yeah.
why that's the year or the age. I don't know what you think about. I mean, maybe I know what you think about that too because you said 45. I was like, yeah, I was 45, and literally once and I excuse my language, I shit you not, Sabrina. Once I did that, three major things in my career happened that were wonderful right afterwards.
Okay.
To where I'm at to now today. I gained a radio show. I became a host of my own radio show, which was a lifelong dream. I became a TV host, which was a lifelong dream. And I had a couple of things happen. It was just like, but that was after I shed all that
Yeah.
weight. So when he said to me, screw you, but he said in stronger terms, but screw you and your forgiveness, you're an evil, vile person in front of my aunt, in front of people, in front of
Yeah.
people. I was like, okay. And when my grandmother
Yep.
could say she loved me, I go, I love you, grandmother. I love you for the time we were okay. Then before
Yep.
you switched. And the part she switched. And she couldn't say I love you back. Couldn't say it. And I was like, well, you know what? And when I walked away, I was like, I still feel okay. And that's when I started sharing my story. I got speaking
Hmm.
engagements. I started sharing my story with other people. But I was like, the forgiveness was for me. It was for me because I needed to save my life.
Yeah.
I feel like for you reading this book, it's the same for you. Grandfather, I have written a book. I'm putting some stuff on TikTok or whatever because I got to save my life.
I
That's how it
mean,
feels to me.
yeah. It, I suspect, as you mentioned, that there comes a time when you start looking at your parents as people
Yes.
Yeah, and mine I don't call forgiveness. That's
Okay.
kind of a hokey thing for me, because I feel like it's really related to religion. But for me, I do have some understanding of why this, I mean, like I said, monsters are made. I have really done a lot of research into serial killers and true crime. I mean, these days it's really popular and it's easy to do. And what I feel like the evidence says is that babies aren't born bad, they're made that way. And I don't think that's a malicious intent. However, I do think we protect abusers more than we protect kids.
Yes.
So,
Agree.
when I think about like, I have no doubt my grandmother, did things to my mom, and I know, I suspect my grandfather, did things to her. Like she learned all the things she did. And I think I have memories of my great grandmother hurting me. So I suspect she did things to her kids. And that's why my grandfather was the way he is. I think he went through World War II, and I don't know which stories to believe, but he did some really bad shit over there. And then he came home and it was the 1960s and it was, let's pretend everything's okay. So I'm like, there are cultural factors here, there are generational things in play. Like, it wasn't personal against me. I was just born into the wrong place. And like you, when you can let those people go as an obligation to something that they never really signed up for in the first place, I think that's what you would call forgiveness. But I'm like, I don't I don't need you around me because you don't do anything for me, and it's not safe.
It's not safe. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not, I'm not angry, I'm not bitter. I'm just like, it's not safe to be around you.
Yes. And for me, I was the father I didn't have for my children.
Yeah.
I made a conscious choice for my two girls that I was going to do everything in my possible power. And their mothers were the same way. We all came from like these bad childhoods.
Yeah.
So we were just like, we're going to do the opposite. We're not going to
Yeah.
do this and do that. And, and I have two amazing grown daughters. Now I have grandchildren. But I was
Wow.
like, yeah, I got five grandchildren. It's crazy.
Can you
Um,
imagine treating a child, you know what I mean? Like,
I
or a
can't.
child, or one of those little kids coming up and saying something, and like, somebody's hurting me, and then you don't believe them.
Right.
That's what gets me. Like, we all grew up. How did we go? No, I choose better. And I'm like, wait, no, my bar's too low. Like, why was I tolerating so much? Like,
Remember, girl, aren't you? Because well, I know you're a millennial, but you're close enough to
I
me.
was going to say, I'm right on Gen X
Yeah, yeah,
millennial.
yeah,
I'm
right
right in that
there. Yeah,
mid.
yeah. So it's like children were to be seen, not
Mm,
heard.
not heard.
We hear that phrase, and I think younger
I took
generations,
you, I brought you into this world. I can take you out of it.
all
Hmm.
those. I mean, seriously, those.
All those. And that was publicly acceptable to say.
Oh, totally.
Like, good old David was telling me about Claremore High School used to have the paddle, and you
Oh
got
yeah,
paddled
yeah.
in front of your high school class. And I'm just like, there was a man whose whole job was paddling kids.
Yes, I remember you laughing. Yes.
And that was a government job.
Oh no, we have people. No, ours was I said, made me laugh. But at my elementary school, we had to get the paper signed from our parents for corporal. They called it corporal punishment.
Corporal punishment.
This is the 70s. And I'm like,
And your parents are like, sign me
no,
up.
here's the thing. Mother said, I'm not, mother was a stay at home mom. She goes, I'll come beat my children if that's going to happen myself. So she didn't, so we never signed it. It was like, she was like, she lived like around the corner. So I'll come to school, beat my children. Like,
I'll
no,
come beat my own.
yes, I'll do it myself. So we never had to, thank God. Never got spanked. But it was like, but it was just kind of like, that
It's
was,
wild.
we have these socially acceptable things. And then also the latchkey kid thing. I was trying to
Yep.
explain to somebody, I was 9 years old with a key around my neck. I used to walk to school
Oh,
without a
I walked to elementary school
right,
every day
without a
by
parent.
myself. Yeah.
That was all these drop-offs and pickups. No, not I was a kid. Not at
Oh,
all. And you to be home by a
oh.
certain time and take out the chicken so we can have the dinner later when I get home. Like we have responsibilities.
Yeah.
You put the
Yeah.
dog, whatever makes you do your homework, all that stuff. And it was like, I'm like, this is like, I could imagine my children could do that. They didn't know that stuff. They didn't know it. They couldn't, they could barely brush their teeth.
It's funny
Right.
you say that because when I got married and I started having friends having kids and I saw all of the crazy things they were doing for children, I got so crazy depressed. Like I was worried. I was like, I basically raised my brother and sister. I did not childproof anything. We had a drop side crib. Like I didn't know. Like I was 9. I didn't know any better. And oh my gosh, like I love that we're very safety conscious,
Oh,
but
yes, of course.
but wow, I'm like that people cared that much about their children when I was having children is wild to me. Like it was so eye-opening to see parents who adored their babies.
Yes. Well, for me, it's watching my daughter's parents.
Oh,
So
that's
it's very
sad.
interesting. It's very interesting. I told because now my siblings are becoming grandparents too. We're all becoming grandparents. And I keep telling everybody, that was the first. The fair, I go, folks, sometimes the hardest thing will be watching your kids parent because it might be very different than what you're used to.
Oh yeah.
Okay, oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, no, they're like, James, you're right. Because sometimes you're like, well, let the kids, they'll be fine. Because I
Yeah.
find myself the old school way, kind of. But you're right. It's kind of like they're so on top of them, like the helicopter parents. I mean, we didn't do that stuff. So I'm like, oh my god, I guess I gotta be quiet. Okay, they get only this much screen time, and they have stuff that we never dealt with.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, I get it. I gotta be quiet. Okay. I be on the same page as my
Just need
kids.
to be the fun grandpa who breaks all the rules and
I
then
do sometimes.
sends them home.
I do sometimes. I'm Papa Jamie, so we had a good time.
That's the best grandpa.
Yes, of course, I'm fine. But no, but I was like, it's interesting to watch them. Like you said, they're really doting on their kids. They're going to every game and trying to get them into every situation. And I was like, yeah, there's a little jealousy. I'm with you, Sabrina.
Yeah.
Jealousy. I'm like, I didn't get that.
Yeah. When my mother was raising my niece, it was really difficult to watch. She tried to be that kind of parent because it was a social media thing. And
Uh,
I was like, what the fuck is going on? But then, she moved in with us and I found out, oh, no, 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 it's still just going on behind the scenes. And I'm like, okay, to me, it pushed me even, that was kind of what really pushed me to the end was, when you see your abuse reflected in a child, like it is an unholy, uncomfortable experience. And I got a double dose because I was parenting that child too, but just little things like I would reach over to smooth her hair down and she would flinch,
you don't.
because you don't know. And it like makes you remember what that looks like. I instantly knew what it was. And I'm like, oh shit. And so then you start having conversations like, oh yeah, you remember that one time, mom hit me with a hairbrush and it broke? And I'm like, yeah, wait, that's not normal. I have a kid now. I'm a parent. I'm like, oh, but you don't see it until you see it. It's wild how much that generation above us focused on it's not that bad. That's not what's happening. You're making a bigger deal. Like it was to this day, like my mother doesn't deny that what I'm saying is happening. It just wasn't that bad. I'm just exaggerating. And I'm like, there is nothing worse in the world than you having every molecule in your body screaming in pain and someone to be like, really? Yeah, I mean,
I do. One of the hardest chapters for me was chapter 54. I mean, there's so many chapters in here, folks, that just
what's the title or what
I'm
section
gonna
is
tell you.
it?
I'm gonna tell you,
Okay.
girl. I'm saying that there's many chapters that were.
I suspect I know, but just in case.
I know you know. I'm gonna say the same, but I'm just saying that there's many chapters in this book that are who you're like, okay, let's get ready. You might have to put down for a second. You might have to walk away for a second. You might have to have an edible or something real quick. I mean, you have to do something. There's other chapters she's very descriptive, and again, they come from a place of a child's perspective many times. So that's what people at home do. I want people to read this book. It's real. I mean, it's just so good. And um, I'm just gonna okay.
Do it.
I forgot which
Do it.
section to read.
Do it.
Okay, I think it's this one. I stare at the blue dress lying in a heap on the floor, my little black patent shoes tossed aside. I lay on my back on the white bed under the white ceiling and try to send my brain away. I understand that one. It's cold in the church today, so I wrap my arms around my chest to try to keep warm. My knees are bent, so my little white sock heels are just seen on the edge. My privates exposed for the grandfather to do his inspection. I am worried I might start screaming again. So I'm going to stop there. What goes into this story is the fact that your father basically rapes you, grandfather rapes you, in front of your mother. And I was like, even I've never been through that before in my life. And I was like, and it's in detail as a kid is saying it, using words like pee pee, which adds to the trauma of this. You are mine. He says, he stares at my body. You will never escape me. Or your mother says, as you're laying there naked, my mother says, I'm getting fat. And I'm just like, it's insane. I know it happened in real life to you, but it's insane. And it was like, it was just a section I had to read twice. I had to kind of stop and put it down and read it again. It's just tough. And again, congratulations for getting through this. I mean, I'm like, and having to write this again and relive it. I want viewers to know that the listeners to know there's some serious shit in this book. I mean, this is like some crazy, twisted, effed up stuff, and how your mother goes off on you afterwards. I'm just like that was one of the tough chapters. That was. So congratulations for making through it. Because I just think that's just, and anybody who reads it, congratulations for making through it also. Anybody who reads it. Again, I want to
I
slap
can't tell
her.
you
I want to
how
hug
nice
her.
it is to hear you say that because it took a long time for me to believe it was that bad.
Oh, wow.
Because when I first started telling my therapist, like in the book, it's the text messages, like it just came in a torrent. And when we would sit down at a session and she would go, okay, these are the chapters you sent, or these are the titles, and let's talk about these stories. And I would have to like spit the story out.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Um, they come as they were made, which is in that voice with that language. And that's why I thought it was so important to be descriptive in that way in these scenes because children do not have the language to make this shit up.
Nope.
They just don't. They say pee pee, they say butthole, like they don't really have the language to understand to say something like dick, like they just don't know. And so when a child describes or can describe something this way, it gives it a different kind of validity um, that people can hear in a different way because there is a lot of dismissing that goes on. Obviously, my family is saying that I'm lying and that I made all this up for attention. And, you know, the idea was to not make people uncomfortable, give people a different perspective. That's what I really tried to do. And I really, really worked hard to make the language not gratuitous or gruesome, but really descriptive of the actions because that's how I experience them, not for the sinister things going on behind. Because when you look at it that way, and you say things like, it's really, really bad, like, I know it sounds crazy, but it feels so good because for so long, everyone was like, it's not that bad. Like, this is totally normal. And again, these purity inspections are described in cases in Ohio and Oregon and Utah. Like, this is sanctioned organizational systemic stuff. And yes, he had extra proclivities, um but there's an umbrella of protection that still exists.
Yes, we know that. It comes out every once in a while. It does come out.
Every once in a while. And
You're you are
I
making
know the
a
Mormon church has a lot of money and a lot of influence, and it is very interesting how silent they have been. I was prepared for more noise, but I'm not complaining.
right, right. I mean, a lot. I mean, I grew up Catholic. A lot of religions. My
Yes.
members of my family, because it's up to them to say they have been messed with priests when they were kids. So it does. It's systemic, and it's all over,
Yeah.
and it happens everywhere. And that's just to say, again, this is one of the chapter examples where I felt like I was in the room, and I didn't want to be there. But I'm so grateful that you gave us a glimpse of that, so people know this stuff happens. This is not a one and done situation. And maybe if you run across someone who's young and tries to talk to you, maybe reading this book will have you more prepared to listen in a different way. Like listen in a way, because
Yeah.
listening is actually an action. And I teach classes on the art of listening as a whole. I do a whole thing like listening, active listening. That's a
Yes.
there's passive listening, active listening, and I think sometimes you just don't know stuff, and then you read a book like Licking the Knife. Well, there it is. And like your little background, thank you there.
Thank you. That's the original painting.
I like another painting.
Thank you.
It's that you really go, oh, now I got some. I now have some insights that if you see something, you can say something. I think sometimes we just don't know. If you've been blessed enough to have to go through this kind of stuff, again, it's a club we don't want you a part of, like actual part of. But if you can be on the periphery and people look out, there's a lot of kids going through stuff, people. And the more people I do these, more I do these shows. I've done shows on male sexual abuse and female. I've been doing this for 10, 15 years. Um, and it's just more and more. It's not that it's happening more. It's always been happening, right, girl? It's always
It's, yes. And we are now living in an age where, for the very first time, you can post something accusing someone of like this and it reaches 2 million people.
right.
That is like, even YouTube and Facebook, like, they were really cracking down on this stuff, and they would protect the person accused. But I mean, I'm a big fan of TikTok, and part of the reason is because you can see information in real time, and once it goes, it's forever. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a record that could not be erased by the Mormon church, that could not be erased by organized religion or the government or whatever, because there's a lot of culpability here. I am not out for blood and vengeance. I don't think that being angry and confrontational is going to get anywhere. I'm like, all I want is to keep kids away from these people. Like, if you see my mom at the grocery store, I want you grabbing your children and running away.
Yeah.
If you see my uncle at church, you throw a fit and don't let him in primary. Like, that's it. That's all I'm asking. I would also like to get some, you know, peace for the people who died, but I'm running into quite a few brick walls when it comes to that stuff. So until I get resources, which my documentary company is looking into. But that's on the DL right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, I mean, it's your life is continuing. So this is still
Mhm.
a life living situation. You know, you're still going to go through some more stuff as you uncover this and put this parts of this to rest. You'll be digging up some other parts. Like this is something this is not. It's this ordeal is over, but like it's just something that you're still going to be going through and fixing the traumas and working through them. And that's the beautiful thing about being a survivor, and I just say a thriver, even better than a survivor. We're thriving in spite of licking the knife, I think.
You think so? I'm going to take that as a compliment. I am here for it. Um, and I wanted to go back to one thing you said a minute ago, which is, when you meet a kid that you think might have issues like this, it is a very scary idea to report. My next project is publishing this summer. It's a art book about it's the artwork I created while I was writing the book because
Oh
I'm
wow, I love it.
I'm extra.
I love it,
And
girl. Yeah, I love it.
oh, thank you. And it is about my emotional beasts. And basically what I discovered is that my language is different than other people. Like we talked about forgetting, like or forgiving. I don't really do that because it doesn't really make sense in my language and experience. But what I can do is talk about my emotions as animals. And so, what I was going to say is if you meet a kid and you think they might be issue, find out how you can make them comfortable. Kids' comfort, in my experience, is not very high priority. And especially kids like you and I, when you're hurting and you can't tell anyone, if someone offers you comfort, whether it's a popsicle or a hug or a soft place to sit or letting me lay down or letting me go to the bathroom 15 times, like sometimes the comfort is the best thing you can offer.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said at the beginning. A lot
Yeah,
of we don't need a lot. We don't need big pomp and circumstance and
no.
grand gestures. Like for us, actually, what we went through that was the grand gestures.
Yeah.
We went through was the giant stuff. We want something simple and
I
quiet, right?
I
Like,
just want a coffee shop
okay.
and some good music.
Yes.
Like, I'm
Right.
I'm pretty simple.
It could be a comedy on TV, some comedy I like, I can binge watch, while eating my favorite pizza and like just kind of like just
Yes, yes. And if you're reading my book and you get uncomfortable and you have to put it down, do something comfortable. Like, do something very gentle for yourself because if you have a reaction like like you do, like it's because it's you recognize trauma. Like like you're empathizing and that's a good thing because you're a kind person.
right.
Like that's okay. Just take a moment, take care of yourself. It
If
is,
you're feeling bad, that's good.
yeah,
It's good.
yeah. Step away, go have a shower or watch a funny TV show, like something soft and gentle.
I agree with that. I can talk to you forever. Licking the knife,
Well, same.
the knife. So when your art book comes out, you have to come back on the show. Let's just showcase.
Yes, please. I would love to. And like I said, it's in the formatting stages, but it's literally just art with a few words and it's emotional beasts.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to kind of delve into that too. I'd love
How
to.
about this? I'll put you on the pre-read list.
Thank you. I'm a painter myself, so I do art.
Oh my gosh, well then share some artwork.
I will do that too.
Okay.
I think it's one of the wins that you and I have, and many others, is that we can express ourselves. Period. For one,
Yeah.
after the experiences we've gone through, that we're able to express ourselves, that we're not some crazy looned up people sitting, drooling in the corner. Um, and I feel bad for those that do. But I'm saying for us that you and I are fortunate enough that we can actually express ourselves in any form, I don't take that lightly. I guess that's just something, whether it's poetry or singing or writing or art or dance or whatever. I think that that's a gift for us. The gift.
Agreed. I appreciate you sharing a good conversation, which is one of my fill my cup things.
Me too. No, me too. That's right. That's why
Okay, good.
I love talking. Everybody has a story. I love. There's plenty of stories.
Agreed. And I love hearing other people connect with mine because for so long it was so quiet. So thank you for connecting and sharing all of your experiences because it filled my heart today.
I
Thank
love.
you.
Make sure you not alone. We're part of a club that's not the fun club, but we're part of this. We're part of a similar club. Ooh,
Agreed.
and survived. Liquid Knife is
Agreed.
out now. Seriously, folks. Um, it's talking about page turner. It's a page turner. Like you will not want to put it down. Go to Amazon. And you don't really have to run. You got a phone, a tablet, whatever. Go on there, order it. Say James sent you. Go out and get it now, or your bookstores wherever. Just go get it. I tell you, it's gonna help you understand some parts of our world and how some of us have grew up. So I suggest this book wholeheartedly. Sabrina, if they want to talk to you more about this stuff, or just want to say hi
Please.
to you or whatever, uh,
Yes.
where can they find you?
Okay, TikTok is my number one. It's just my name, Sabrina Capper. It's my handle's Old Lady Lit. It started out as literature, but now apparently you know.
Yes, yes,
But I'm on all social media platforms. It's always just my name. It is my history, and I send me a DM, send me like, comment, follow. Let's plan a book club. Like I want to talk to people. I enjoy it, and I really, really love my TikTok community. So yeah, come say hi.
I will. I think I gotta follow you on TikTok. Apparently, I'm a TikTok star myself.
I know.
I had a couple of videos that just went viral. I'm like, oh my god. But yes, I have to find. I was trying because I'm following. You saw I'm following me a couple. I'm trying to find you everywhere. I'm gonna follow you everywhere. But I'll tell you, folks, TikTok. I never knew that. And I have about 7 videos that went viral in my life there, and I've become this. I mean, it's been crazy.
I'm telling you, it is the nicest community of people. It's just so lovely. I love it.
I agree.
And it may just be my FYP that I have cultivated brick by brick, but I am here for it because my people are just amazing. They're so encouraging. That is my favorite part of the day as I open up my TikTok comments and it's, 5 or 6 comments that are like, I read your book, you're awesome. And I'm like, oh my God, I love these people. Like it's just happiness. I love it.
I love it. Now I'll put in the description all everybody so you can follow all these places. Be in the description.
Oh, and let me say one more thing
Please,
just
please
for
do.
your listeners, in case you're worried. This is a happy ending.
Yes.
And when I say that, I mean, I am a happy person now. It's a long journey. It's really difficult. Yes, I'm healing. I'm in a lot of therapy and I take my medications and I eat right and exercise and do all the things. And it's hard. It's hard every day, but I really want to tell people like I am okay. Like I have a great husband and son. I have Nanny and Poppy. We see them all the time. My best friend Kelly, we just had girls weekend. Like I am okay. And now I'm talking.
Yes. That's where we'll end it. If you Pages on Facebook, I'm everywhere else. We'll talk to you next time.